Tervetuloa Tulevaisuudenkestävä Suomi-podcastiin. Tässä jaksossa ollaan siellä, missä päättäjät, ideat, visiot ja maailman parhaat puhujat kohtaa, eli Nordic Business Forumissa. Tänä vuonna tapahtuman teema on Be Change, ja tässä jaksossa lähdetään kuulemaan vieraiden näkemyksiä, mitä muutos ja muutoksen johtaminen heille tarkoittaa. Tervetuloa kyytiin! Hey, Hannele Peltonen, Marketing Director from Martela.
Yeah.
How are you today?
I am very good, thank you. Really happy to be here.
What kind of change drivers or transformation trends you have recognized in your own work at the moment?
Well, that's an easy question because everything is changing in my role and in our business. We work in workplace development, so we are very closely monitoring what's happening in work culture and the way we work, and that is one of the topics here today. And then there's of course another trend which is sustainability, very closely impacting our business as well, and then also AI, which is I'm responsible for marketing and communications, and AI is kind of crawling into everything we do. So the topic of today, which is change, is what we are working with every day.
Leading the change, it's not easy,
No.
but do you have some tips or insights what you would like to share? What would be the good way to lead the change?
First of all, networking. So you cannot do everything yourself as an organization. You need to network with active players and pioneers, and then you need to be curious about the change. So not only follow what's happening, but curiosity is really important in today's world. So these two easy but very difficult tips I would like to share.
Sounds really good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Petri Matero, marketing and sales rockstar.
Most definitely.
From Matero & Partners.
Yeah.
Nice to have you here. How has it been so far in Nordic Business Forum?
The Patrick Lencioni's, the VIP session was brilliant.
You help companies with marketing and sales, and I guess you have recognized lots of different kind of transformation trends or change drivers. Can you describe some of those? What are the kind of the most important drivers of change at the moment?
I think the most important thing that companies are searching for are results, and actual results, not vanity meter results, but actual results, and I mean euros. And the main thing I have noticed now, actually the shift has been quite, fast in Finland. It's all about, getting right people to do right things, new things also, so piloting things, and that comes, up to the knowledge base that companies have and the people they have, and there's really big need for interim people, interim directors, marketing officers, CEOs, COOs, who come to the company, they have clear strategy, what needs to be done, and they know how to do it and with who. That's about it. And the results come, just selecting the right interim directors.
At the moment, there are lots of different transformation trends going on. There's digital transformation, sustainability transformation, and all kinds of stuff. How do you feel? How well companies are performing to manage with those at the moment?
I think in the end of the day, it's really important that do companies have resources to gather the information that they need and skills, and are there do they have people who are willing to change themselves and change their perception, perspective, and gather? Are they curious enough to grow new skill sets? And the companies that thrive and those that don't, that's the thing that how do you get the people to understand the change and the how would I say, the sense of urgency of it.
The Nordic Business Forum theme this year is Be the Change, it starts from yourself.
Yeah, they know their things. that might be the reason why the theme is that this year.
Yeah. How do you feel? I mean, you work lot with lots of decision makers, and leading the change is not so easy. do you have some tips to share that what would be important when you start doing the change process?
In my opinion, it all comes down to the ego. You have to kill the ego who's saying that, you know, this is too difficult to me. If I'm doing something new, I might be putting myself into a not so stable, you know, situation or position. And it's about curiosity. It's about how can you put your ego away, and that's the thing that I really would like to. And also, I discuss with leaders and directors that are you ready for that kind of change? And after that comes the opportunities.
How about this year's Nordic Business Forum? What do you expect to take home from here?
Ideas, new connections, you know, one-liners. I love one-liners and business opportunities, of course. I have my calendar, you know, cleared and just feeling the atmosphere here.
Sounds good. Thank you, Petri.
Thanks.
I have here Professor Alf Rehn. Nice to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
How has the day been so far?
It's been good. It's been good. It's always fun to see kind of the excitement, the passion, and particularly how people can refine themselves here at Nordic Business Forum.
You work with leadership, innovation, design, for example.
Yeah.
How does the world at the moment look like through those filters?
Well, we always say that everything changes faster than ever before, but then again, that's what we always say. I mean, it's obvious that certain kind of technological changes, I'm thinking artificial intelligence, I'm thinking quantum computing, automation with drones and so on, are top of mind for a lot of managers and a lot of executives. Similarly, the old stalwart of sustainable development is, of course, always on top of mind. I think what we're seeing now is, weirdly enough, a sort of calm before the storm. A lot of companies have realized that these new technologies and the new demands of sustainability are going to force a fairly harsh reset of many business logics, but aren't really prepared to commit and invest today. So, strangely enough, even though a lot is changing all around us, what I'm seeing is more a sort of scared calm of everyone kind of waiting for somebody else to take the first large, big step.
As usual.
In a sense as usual, but I sense it more today, and I think that the current crisis in the world, the economic question marks that surrounds us, obviously the war in Ukraine and similar things, have kept people kind of pretty much in a wait and see kind of mode.
Wise words. This year's Business Forum theme is Be Change. What does it mean to you?
I think it's, in a sense, always be learning. Be prepared to question yourself. Be prepared to realize that you're not the smartest guy in the room or gal in the room, if you happen to be a gal. I think it's about realizing that just because you've been really good at something in the past doesn't mean that you can rely on that in the future. I continuously work on kind of questioning the way I write, the way I work, the models I use, and quite often I realize that I'm actually quite boring. I'm doing the same thing over and over, and that's why I come to places like NBF, so I get shook out of that complacency.
Thanks a lot, Alf, for the conversation. Have a nice NBF.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. World Vision is a little bit different than like the business companies. Here you are kind of like a humanitarian organization with the will to help children all around the world.
Yes.
What's going on with the world today? What kind of like powers or trends or change forces there's going on at the moment?
I would say one of the most important things is to notice that the change is constant. So every time we are planning for something, we still have to be prepared that there is another crisis, and we have to be able to react very quickly. Being an international organization working in 100 countries, it of course helps us to be prepared and to be present where we are needed. But still the agility and also resilience is very important, and you can see that in not only in the work that World Vision is doing, but in our partners.
So you are basically all the time working in the middle of change in some kind of, there's always some kind of new crisis or new kind of like a need for your work.
Yeah, and looking at the theme of this event this year, Be Change, it really feels like a home to us because that's what we are living all the time with. I was thinking about what kind of thoughts Be Change actually brings to my mind, and one of the first things that came to my mind was some of the young people living in the slum area in Nairobi who are now entrepreneurs who are hiring other youth from that area, and they made a huge change and they're willing to give back to the communities where they come from. And I think that's kind of what I'm looking for here as well, to hear those stories about change, about how we can make a difference in the world when we are connecting with each other and working together, because that's where change starts.
If a person wants to change or an organization wants to change, what do you think is the first and the most important step on that journey?
I would say the most important thing is to listen. For World Vision, we are listening to the people that we are working with to make a change in the communities. If you don't listen to those who are living in the core of it, if we don't listen to each other, we might look for the wrong solutions. And in reality, the change will not be possible, or it will be much slower because we are just not listening. We think that we know better. So listening to other people and collaboration, I would say, go with that.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hannu Harju, CEO of Simukube. How has Nordic Business Forum been so far?
Yeah, it's quite busy. It's nice to be here. This is actually my first time that I'm here, so it's nice to see this kind of like the atmosphere and people. You know, it feels very like energizing. And, great experience so far.
In Simukube, you are the kind of pioneers in sim racing. What is your mission in Simukube in that sense? That are you transforming the whole like era of sports here?
Yeah, I think it's at least very big part of the mission is to kind of, because motorsports is kind of the way that we're going. It's not very sustainable right now. And copying motorsports, we are trying to get the same kind of vibe and same feeling, but make it better. So it will never be the same because there are some physical, things that we cannot replicate, and that is not the goal we have. We want to make it more engaging and like more, better.
How do you see the future of sim racing? Will that at some point replace like physical racing?
It's hard to say, but I mean that the trends in sim racing you can see that there like many ways that the sustainability angle is pushing it kind of further, and then we have a lot of big like NASCAR and ADAC in Germany. They're pouring a lot of basically money in sim racing and trying to kind of find the new motorsports or something like that. At Simukube we are at the top of that, so we are pushing sim racing further from the hardware side. So we are doing the best hardware, the most innovative hardware, and we are doing the stuff that no one else has done. And we are doing the stuff that is not in cars right now, even like racing cars, like features that doesn't exist in real world. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Older companies, in a way, they at the moment struggle with the digital transformation and sustainability transformation. But your company is already like born with those kind of like elements. The digital digitalization and sustainability, they are in the core of your business in a way.
Yeah.
But what kind of like a change forces or trends do you see at the moment that will affect on your business?
When we do products and we develop stuff, we create those products to last for at least 20 years. So we are not forcing the customers to buy a new product every year or something like that. So that is, and we use like industrial grade components and the best that we can kind of get and make sure that they last for a lifetime. So that is also one angle that we are doing, the kind of sustainability.
So it's sustainability, as you mentioned, it comes in your business from many angles in a way. It's kind of like the full circle in a way.
Yeah.
What about the Nordic Business Forum? This year's theme is Be Change.
Yeah.
How do you understand that? What resonates in that with you?
When we create something, it kind of forces our competitors to copy it. So we are like, pushing it forward. So that is what at least kind of excites me. So how we can kind of make impact in this world, that we do stuff smarter and better and more efficient and stuff like that. So that's also like one angle of that.
That sounds really good. Have a nice event. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you. It was nice.
Kim Väisänen, startup investor. Nice to see you here at Nordic Business Forum.
It's all my pleasure.
How has it been so far here?
Busy, extremely busy. I think that it's more crowd than in the last few years, and it's a good symptom.
Okay. You are a startup investor and we are living in a kind of like a turbulent times with lots of kind of different kind of transformations going on at the same time. What do you think are the most important skills for a company to survive in times like these?
In these kind of times, you have to be agile. You have to be able to react. But there's one thing: if you are a business manager or running a company, be sure that you have enough cash to execute your change plans and other such. Because at the moment, it's virtually impossible to get external funding for anything.
So it's critical to have some back of your pocket in a way.
If you have deep pockets, it always helps. The companies do not have any other crisis than cash crisis. When you run out of the cash, you're out of the business. As simple as that.
Sounds really simple, but it's still difficult.
It's difficult, but the thing is that the business always goes up, it always goes down. It happens. There are crises, there's a pandemic, there's a wars, there's inflation, but it's in constant move. And the thing is that how you prepare for the bad times at the good times, i.e. that you build your buffers, you build your organization, you train people, you have a plans. You don't have just an A plan, you might have a B plan, you might even have a C plan, but you have to have a plans.
So basically it's all about preparation.
Reparation.
We always think that when something difficult comes up, that okay, these are really special times, but I think as you mentioned,
times
it
are
goes
always
always
special.
like that.
And I have been a managing director. When the happy days were there, it was always my own excellence why the company was performing so well. And then when things went wrong, became difficult, it was always market's fault. The thing is that the good managers, they are prepared. They are like Boy Scouts.
Sounds good. What about you as an investor? How can you tell what kind of company is a good investment? What is the thing that you look first there always?
If I would know how to pick up companies, I would just pick up the winners. And then I have made now I have invested over 45 companies, over 110 rounds, good 8-number figure, different kind of startups. I do not have that skill, but there's a couple of things which you have to take to the consideration. First of all, wherever you invest, make sure that market is large enough, big enough, that we call it TAM, total addressable market. Let's say that you invest something where the worldwide market is 1 million or 10 million, it's not an investor case. It might be a good entrepreneur case, but it's not an investor case. That's for sure. First thing. Second thing, take a look, what is the real value added which company provides via its products and services to its customers. That is there really genuine value added. And then in the past, kids were sold this gadget called Tamagotchis. Well, it was like a pig, it came and it disappeared. That the value added has to be something in the long term. And thirdly, it would be great that people you work with, you would enjoy being with them, i.e. that don't work with assholes.
So in the end, it's all about people.
It's not all about the people. If the market is wrong, you do all the wrong things, it doesn't help, even if you have the world best people. And I use this expression or this analogy, that if you take the world best ice hockey players and make them play basketball, it's not going to end well.
Great analogy. Thanks a lot, Kim, for this conversation.
Thank you.
It was really good. Sani Leino, CEO, keynote speaker, advisor, social media guru, and whatever more. But nice to have you here at Nordic Business Forum. How has it been so far?
Well, thanks for having me. It's been one of the best personally, because I basically came here to see Tim Ferriss and I get to meet him. So it's like, it's beyond my expectations. And of course, meeting people like you and the rest of the people, that's the whole spirit here.
Yeah, like meeting good people, having good conversations, and
Yes, 'cause, like you cannot get the full, how do you say, ROI if you don't actually interact with people. So that's why I agree with Pep, who said it on the stage. It's like you can get a lot from those speeches, but the real deal is like what happens in between those speeches, in my opinion.
the theme of this year Nordic Business Forum is Be the Change. And what kind of change is present in your work at the moment? What kind of change drivers you recognize there?
I don't want to call myself a change consultant in a sense, but I've understood that's what I basically do. I change mindsets of like, hey, seeing the possibilities in like new technology. But I think that now the companies don't know what to do, so they don't know what to change. So we're now in the position like, okay, what do we really need to do? What has to be changed, and how do we implement that change, basically?
What would be your kind of like a tip how to start to understand how to change?
Yes, very good one. So first of all, I'm a pretty practical guy. So first of all, you need to have the state. So let me ask a question, like if you would be a leader, let's say we talk about numbers first. How do you measure where you are? And that already shows that not every company needs like, okay, I don't know where I'm at the moment. So we don't know the current state. Okay, but once you know the current state, being that like, okay, how is this improving or what compared to last year? But then, of course, where do we want to be? Do we want to grow? Do we want to maintain? Do we want to win certain customers or certain markets? That's the second step. Like, what do we do in the future, meaning near future? But then, what I heard today also is like, okay, where do we want to be in 5 or 10 years? Meaning, like, because we know life is about to change. The business things are moving. So you basically should know that we're gonna be in the situation we're gonna lose our current moment. So where do we go where other people are not yet in? Where should we focus so that we're better positioned? Because if you're always like, okay, they are also moving there and we're a little bit left behind, why do you always run faster to try to catch other people or other companies? So you should obviously aim like, okay, how do you renew yourself in a sense?
What would be the next big thing? We have how like digitalization,
Yeah.
AI, sustainability, whatever. But you know, what would be your wild guess? What would be the next like a big trend that goes over and over everything?
If I would hope, what would be? It's like the real human connections, or something that doesn't scale. It takes time. It's messy. It's one of the hardest things to actually have a human connection. So I think that hopefully is one of those big trends.
That's really, really interesting, and that's not even so bad picture of the future, like being more human, having more human connections.
Yes, and if you think about what I've said many years, like the role of digitalization or AI or technology is not to replace humans. It's to replace the work that humans should never, even in the first place, should be doing, right?
That sounds really good and really good insight from you. Thank you, Sani, very much for this interview.
Hey, thanks for having me, and have a blast, and see you next time also on the Nordic Business Forum.
Definitely.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you. Marja Innanen, Executive Director of UN Global Compact Finland. Nice to have you here on NBF. How has it been so far?
Amazing, as always. So many inspiring speakers and a lot of good contacts. I've met so many new persons, new companies, new sectors also. Yesterday, for example, met many companies in the field of artificial intelligence, and also the two last presentations, they were so excellent.
UN Global Compact is a global initiative to implement universal sustainability principles to companies and organizations like in a daily basis.
Yeah.
What does it mean really in practice for companies to commit something like that?
Yeah, well, it means that every company in every sector, in every continent, is it a big or small company or where it works, should commit on these universal principles which run business so that the business respects human rights, labor rights and environment, and also that the business acts so that the corruption is not the issue.
How many companies do we already have in Finland like committed to your initiative?
200 or more, a bit more, maybe 210. First companies committed 24 years ago. And now we have actually been present in Finland for 4 years, but this initiative was launched already 2000 by Kofi Annan, which was the Secretary General at that time. And nowadays also when company wants to participate UN Global Compact, they commit and give the commitment to Secretary General, which is now Guterres. But the second frame is Sustainable Development Goals, which are now a common language. What sustainable development means. They are also reporting framework, if you want to put it so, and they are the long-term vision for the companies on all and of course the world. What is the world we want to have, and our companies work very much to enhance SDGs.
How well are we performing in that in Finland, as you are like a global initiative, but I guess you have the view that you could somehow compare how we are doing in Finland based on that?
Nationally, as a national-wide, if we think about nationally, Finland has been for some years now the front row student. I mean that Finland is in SDG ranking index first. We have been the first among all countries for 2 or 3 years with other Nordics. But the thing is that our Achilles heel is spillover effects, meaning that we produce our welfare with the other countries' nature's capacities or so. So we need to cut this thing off.
So the direction is right, but we are definitely not ready yet.
Yeah, we are not there yet.
Thanks a lot for the interview and have a great Nordic Business Forum.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Kalle Kantola, Vice President of Foresight and Data Economy in VTT.
Yes.
Nice to have you here. How has the Nordic Business Forum been so far?
I think it's been great. A lot of interesting talks and presentations. A lot of sustainability stuff and also leadership stuff. So I think a lot of people. So you are a bit tired even after first day, but inspired.
What do you think, what are the most remarkable forces of change at the moment that affect in Finnish society or Finnish business landscape?
Sustainability is something that has been coming up, if you think about in 2 years, it has now been or become to the core of business. Then resilience, because of the obvious reason, there's more and more paid attention about how to ensure business resilience, how to be prepared for the future, so more like understanding about what could happen and how we should react on that, or how we should even change the possibilities that something will happen, and not necessarily to, let's say, look for risk, but also look for opportunities that how you can benefit from those changes. Then I would say that also like digitalization and use of data is big things that many companies are thinking that how they could use better data to make their decisions, make them more future-proof, or how they could be able to tackle the more and more complex society and business environment for their benefits.
3 big changes going on at the same time in a way.
Yeah, there are more actually, the finance and so, but I guess that's something that should be kind of business as usual.
Yeah. What do you think, how well we are already handling the sustainability aspect in business life?
I think there has been a lot of discussion if you think about like tens of years, but now since 2020 and onward from that, there is really like a pressure that you should really do something, and the talks what we have seen here really emphasize the need for taking actions. And there is a learning curve. I think if you think about big companies, they are kind of on top of the ball. They know what to do. They know what's the impact of their operations, what is the handprint of that. They can even show the calculation of that. But if you come to the smaller companies, I guess there is still a lot of things to be done. And in Finland, we are, as an economy, we have a lot of subcontracting companies, and if they are not able to cope with the sustainability requirements and regulations and make those improvements, then I think they can really face challenging times in the future.
What about the use of data? Do we already know how to take everything out of it?
No. Data is also a topic which has been there like several decades, and there's more and more data. There's better algorithms what you can use. I think you should be aware that what are the capabilities of using data in your business, and also pay attention about how the different tools develop. What are the restrictions that how you can use generative AI or tools?
What about leading the change? It's always difficult for any business leader, but can you come up with some topics or some specific things that what should we really be aware of at the moment? What should we take a look at or focus at the moment?
I'm very emphasized by this impact-driven leadership. So we should more and more focus about what kind of an impact we are trying to achieve when we are leading organizations or people. And in addition of that, there is more and more drivers which makes the business environment, also organization, more turbulent. And there the societal safety, different kind of emotional intelligence kind of things are more and more important when you are making the change or when you are thinking that how you enable the change forward.
Great tips and wise words. Thanks a lot for the interview.
Hey, thanks.
Jussi Vyyryläinen, Vice President of Leasing from Citycon. How has the Nordic Business Forum been so far?
It's been very interesting, so very interesting topics here and nice conversations. Also like contradicting sometimes even some of the speakers, which is nice, I think.
You at Citycon, you develop urban hubs and urban environments, building some kind of like also mixed-use centers, like shopping centers and stuff like that.
Correct.
That's really interesting area. I mean that we are living in the certain times which are kind of turbulent and uncertain in many ways. What kind of trends or forces of change you recognize at the moment in your industry?
Consumer behavior is changing. It's changing in many ways. It's like short term, I would say that the financial crisis or cost crisis at the moment, it's affecting people. But then I would say that that's only for short term. But long term, consumers are beginning more and more, which is great. They're beginning more and more sustainable aware. So that also gives us opportunity also, but of course challenge to meet their requirements. So consumer change is one. Then another big and huge trend and huge change is also the behavior of work. How does people do work? So where do they do it? How do they do it? They're not going to 5 days a week to the office, they're doing something else. And that's also a great opportunity for us being in the urban cross points, as you said.
So you are in the middle of many kinds of transformations at the
correct.
moment.
And I didn't even mention e-commerce and physical retail, working with that also for reason because that's been already a long time, and we always knew that there's a really big need for physical retail. But now we can actually see how it works together with the digital retail. So that's a great big trend also happening.
What will be, on your opinion, what will be the next big thing in your industry? How people will want to behave?
I think it's the convenience, even if it's not a new thing. But I think we somehow we have sometimes forgotten about that. That actually, it's also about, we talk about experience, and that's also part of it, by the way. Consumers want to also experience things, and like experience something new. But I think everyday life, like again, I'm going back to where our centers are. They are in the middle of everyday life of the people. In the morning when they go to work, or in the evening when they come from there, or when they take their kids to football training or whatever, we are there. So I think people are expecting convenience, and I believe that is touching a lot of, we have discussions about Helsinki city center, how is it developing and how are people, I think convenience is one really important part of that. So yeah, I would say that is, even if it sounds like an old stuff, but I think it's also a little bit forgotten sometimes.
Leading the change, it's never easy. But you as a leader yourself, what would be your tip to all the people who are struggling within the change?
I think it's for me as a leader, I want to hear what my people are saying actually, because they are there every day talking with our clients, our tenants, who are talking with the consumers. So, and the change comes from there when you have the data, you hear about stuff, all the quiet signals, but also the bigger trends. So I think it's to work together with your team, your people.
Really good tip. Thanks a lot, Jussi, for the interview.
Thank you very much.
Have a great NBF.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Mahtavia ihmisiä, mahtavia puheenvuoroja, mahtavia näkemyksiä. Kiitos, kun säkin olit mukana tässä meidän Nordic Business Forum spesiaalijaksossa. Ja ensi jaksossa mennään sitten taas tutummissa tunnelmissa tavalliseen tapaan. Nähdään silloin.